guys. Welcome back. You are still tuned in to the show called Funtastic Fridays. And once you hear that intro song, you know it's time for Talk the Ting with Kim. Alright, so as I told y'all last week, June is the month for men's mental health, right? And I thought this was really important. I actually wish it was more widely advertised because I think we really need to, learn about it. We need to understand what it is. We need to understand that the simple things that we think are just nothing, especially for men. They like to downplay, as we said last week, a lot of things. In whole heap of pain, stress out, unhappy, don't know what to do themselves. But when you ask you're no good, hey man, everything go on, man, everything go on. Man, it's a hold it, What are you holding?
Like a G.
Make we know like a G. Why we can't be any other letter? I don't know. Right? No, we don't know. Right?
Sharp,
But we really don't play. I think Jamaicans overall, we don't play stuff, but men in particular, y'all don't play what's going through, right?
Yeah.
So we decided we're gonna have a part 2 to this segment. Last week it was men's mental health, what you need to know. So we educated you guys on warning signs of different types of mental health concerns, what basically some things that you can consider. But now this week we're going to talk about what you need to do.
Yeah.
Right? So to discuss this with me today, of course, we have some professional men, in their gender. We have Mr. Fresh Concepts.
Wow.
Been a man for as long as he can remember.
That's the game.
And same for Mr. DJMV.
Professional man.
Professional man as
That's
well.
alright.
A master. And then we have Jada.
Mastermind.
Then we have Jada. Who sometimes
What?
sometimes what, kid?
Knows a man.
Right? No, some man. Right? And that's where we're gonna leave it.
Yeah.
No, Jada, it's all love. So we're gonna get into it. So this week is a continuation to our conversation last week, right? But I wanna know, gentlemen, we're gonna have, instead of more of like an educational session, more of a discussion.
Yeah.
So all the men on the live, feel free to drop in feedback, want to think what, like the truth, the reality, what you guys experience. So let's start with depression.
What? Just like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, off the bat. Bam.
Running, we're hitting the ground running, literally, right? How often would you guys say you experience depression?
Wow, Kim.
I know.
Kim.
Or how often do you get depressed?
All right.
And do you even know if you're depressed
Well,
anymore?
not envious to him.
It's like they're depressed now.
No, man, but
they look stressed out.
them time to hear my vibe,
No,
but
it's
envy is a
Ting and
traveling
envy
resident.
too, yeah.
So let them hear from the foreigner.
Can
You
we
know?
tag team them?
Yeah.
Depression is quite often.
Jada.
It's
Anyway.
quite common, So depression is described by like a low mood. And you have certain things that cause that low mood. A lot of things actually, which is why, it's possible that men like me will get depressed often. Some don't know because you don't really know that you're depressed. As you don't know that, what's happening to you or the symptoms that you're displaying are symptoms of depression. So I personally get depressed a lot.
You get depressed a lot.
Yeah.
And what are like some of the triggers?
We
not go too personal, but overall, because we're human, I can tell you enough days me get up, me feel depressed, just out of the blue. So sometimes I don't even know why. But what do you think? Because I evaluate the thing now, and this is one of the things that I want men to start doing. Don't be afraid to start evaluate yourself. Like, some realize about 3 weeks now, I just feel away. You start spot them something. You don't just continue 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and you just accept it as life. So, no, you realize, about 3 weeks, you realize, you start to be not right, and you don't even understand why. You need to stop and start looking to yourself and try to check, what caused this?
True.
Let us live so. So, what do you think are like some of your triggers, maybe?
And as a matter of fact, before I get into it, I personally speak so open about it because I figured out how to kind of knock myself out of depression. So even though it happened to me a lot, I have certain little things that I do, which you know,
Which we'll get into later.
Uplift,
Yeah.
yeah. Kind of knock me back out of it. One of my main and the main triggers of men overall, finances.
Yeah, that is true. Because there's an expectation on men when it comes to finances.
Yeah.
So I believe that would be a main trigger, a major trigger.
Yeah. Also, sometimes conflict, like certain type of conflict. For example, if you wanna
like we need to talk.
Eh?
Like that statement there which I hear men just avoid like the plague. Like if y'all were in a good mood, once you hear or get a text message, we need to talk, you know. It's like the day mash up.
Well, that's too. That too, cause relationship, but more along the lines of like you're and a friend just not good.
Oh.
You're a good friend.
So like I look at emotional bond fall out there. So.
Yeah. Like you're a good friend and let's say that friend is somebody that I usually talk to when you're going through something.
So when you lose a power repeat or you know, disconnect with a friend.
Yeah. And pretty much depression can happen when you have a problem, an ongoing problem that you can't really solve.
Find a solution to.
Right. Which happens to men a lot because we're breadwinners.
You're supposed to be the problem solver.
You know
You're supposed to be a man of his own.
Yeah.
And you see, that's one of the things we spoke about last week. You see them gender roles there that are put on men. That is half of the issue, you know. I'm not gonna say there aren't certain things that it's sort of natural for a man to, cause you know, you guys are the stronger of the genders and more protective and have certain innate strengths and abilities. But then if the case where we hear a sound downstairs, both of we go. I believe so. I would go. I not make my partner go alone.
Down there.
Because I remember one time I asked one if he kill a lizard and him say, you know, say only because you did it, you know, it's because like an ego thing. In different a lizard too, you know, but him not tell me that till after the fact.
No, cause you know what give you strength sometimes.
Yeah, that's that, and that is fine. But never they admit that I no one look away.
I would
tell
myself I'm afraid of lizard. But what me do is that, I don't want a lizard touch me. You know what I'm saying? Well, here what go on now. You see me now? When a lady call me, I say, help me run this lizard. Right, they say, here me step in. Here to your rescue! And I feel like a superhero.
That's what he said.
Really true, I don't really run down lizard and do them something, I kill them off. I make them go about their business. I don't really like madness, you know? But in that
if
case,
you felt
now,
like a knight in shining armor.
I take out my shit, I go for boom, or take it out of me shot like a macho man. Exactly.
Sincerely believe that, you know, we're human beings.
Strength in numbers.
And we
can't afraid of lizard.
Yeah, we can't all afraid of lizard, we can't afraid of roach, we can't afraid of rat, spider, anything.
Rat bats.
Right, we're humans, so therefore, if you're afraid, me afraid too, but you know.
But that's the thing, a lot of men have that fear, but I'm not telling nobody. So the minute now any female now come and say, you know, you can come kill one lizard, instead of being honest and saying that they're afraid of it too.
But Kim, that does sound right coming from a man. Why?
Why?
But
you think
the thing is, and that is
why
the thing
are you
that
afraid of lizard as a man?
Why
but you see, that's the problem.
You are human.
No, alright,
you can have a fear.
No, alright, hold on.
You know?
Alright, you have people, you know. Alright, first thing first. Alright, I'm a person like this. I do this with myself sometimes to kind of get myself through some things. I ask myself why. So if not, why are you afraid to do this?
Well,
Why
first
are you
of all,
afraid to do
remember,
that?
you know, a lot of times fear is irrational, you know.
No, that's why I'm explaining to you. So in that case,
there's
you know,
not much
if you say
logic.
you had a bad experience and something happened,
I don't know why I'm so afraid of lizard. I really don't know.
I understand
I'm
that.
just afraid
But
of
I'm
lizard.
saying, at the end of the day, if you find that there's no set reason for your fear in this thing, I think that's even a little incentive for you to get over it. I just think so. I'm not saying you should, or I'm a psychologist and I know what's right from wrong. I'm just saying if you really have no sound reason for say, boy, why you're afraid, that shows that you kind of can get over it then.
I don't know if I'm going to subscribe.
I'm not saying
Exactly. We're not going to subscribe to that.
Something that I tell myself
fear is
and I help
oftentimes
myself through.
irrational.
I'm not
And
saying
that works for you.
everybody.
And that works for
I'm
you.
not a doctor.
So let's put that out there. That's what works for Lionel. When he realized, say, there's no basis or reason really for the fear, then it helps him to overcome it.
Why
but for most people,
are you
fear
afraid
is
of
irrational.
snakes? Because some of them are poisonous. Okay, bro, that sounds quite reasonable for me.
Yeah.
But when you know when you're overwhelmed by emotion though, it's hard for you tap into that logical side.
No, I understand. So I said some people have emotional issues related to these things. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight
So-
it. If you
so-
have a reason, you know.
Yeah.
But some people say, me don't know why. I'm like,
Me
so
don't know why.
you need to look into it a bit further.
I'm
Figure
gonna
out
really
why.
try to look into
So it might be a way
All
for
of
you to
that.
overcome it.
Regardless of
Once-
your reason as to why you're afraid of it, right? It's just that you are a human being, and at the end of the day, you are allowed to be afraid of spiders just as much as Kimmie is allowed to be afraid of
So
spiders.
Jada, what you tell some of these guys out there and ladies, a few of them as well, who are afraid to go look at jam?
No, that's a different story.
That's a different thing.
What are you afraid of?
Exactly.
Getting
But that's
paid?
different.
Me afraid for get put out, you know.
Alright.
So me I go look the job.
I'm just saying sometimes you can, just kind
I'm
of
afraid of
push the
hunger.
envelope and get a little progress from yourself.
That's
But
different,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
That's a whole
No,
different
people,
story.
People use fear, as I said, sometimes it is legitimate to them.
No, but
or
fear
sometimes they use it as an
oftentimes,
excuse.
and that's what art.
That's all I'm saying.
Just to answer that thing about fear. Fear is most times irrational.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they say. It's not. I think most people always try to understand why somebody fears something. And sometimes it cannot be understood because half the time the person themselves don't know why. Just for whatever reason. I don't know if it's a way that they see. For me, as I said, when I see lizards, I see iguana level first. That's the first size me see. No matter which lizard it is, in my mind,
It's morphing
it
time.
starts at iguana and then it got all the way up to crocodile. So imagine we see a crocodile, imagine when we see dinosaur, right? But that's just how my brain processes it. I don't think I had actively created that image in my brain, but for some reason that's how I process it. So my fear is that much bigger because me I see iguana. Right? So that's just the reality. Fear is oftentimes irrational, and most times it's not for you to understand it, but to respect someone's fear. I remember one time I ran somebody down with a balloon because she was afraid of balloon. I was much younger then.
Kim, you were
I mean, I
evil.
try to understand who you afraid of. No, for me, it never matter.
It
When you
makes
afraid of
sense.
balloon?
No. I don't like balloons.
No, when I was younger, I never understood. She said it, you know.
Yeah,
But I thought she was joking. I ran her down with it, and she started ball, and that's when I realized this was serious.
Yeah.
So
You
it
see,
wasn't
when
for
that
me to
pops
understand.
You know, the actual thing, it blows up, and then it gonna pop.
Exactly.
I fear that
The
I
pop.
just don't know when it's going to
I
pop.
fear the pop because anytime I balloon, I'm very.
I'm just like,
I'm not afraid right now, but me depend on God.
I'm on right,
We
and
don't
that made me
people
very
like that.
anxious.
We don't
I
people
don't
like
like
that
that.
too.
Yeah, like me, I watch it. Like even somebody say blow up some balloon.
No.
And then I do it now, but guess what? Me not blow them too big. More not manageable level space.
I don't tie them.
Where and me not mind tie them, but depend on.
PTSD that too.
Yeah, exactly. Cause they pop on me already.
Yeah.
So them merchants to me, we not blow it past a certain
I've
size.
seen it pop on people, and they did that jump thing. And I'm like,
But hold on, sir, Mr. Lionel, you never answered the question.
What
Yeah?
was the question?
So the very first question, which MV answered for us earlier,
Oh, depression.
is depression, right? Firstly, how often would you say you get depressed?
That's my thing. As I said, I don't know what I'm doing, people. I'm just going through life step
And
by
this is
step.
one of the things,
Right? And this is
uh-huh.
how I kind of get through my stuff. So, I mean, sometimes I might feel down. I mean, we've done the topic already, and I think, there are times that, feeling down for a minute or two is normal. It's not a thing where you say, all right, this is depression. I don't think they would call it depression right now. I think depression is more of an
A
ongoing
long-term
thing.
thing, yeah.
So when I see that little down period coming, I try to bring myself up.
Yeah, but
You know?
how often you feel guilt?
Yeah, how
and shame?
often you feel a little down?
That's what I'm saying now. To get to that
And
stage.
how long does it last? For
Alright,
each
for
time?
it to get to them stages now, I would say probably once a year, I would think. And then if it happens, it would probably last, I'd say 2 days at most. If it's gonna be so,
Yeah.
Because I said, I'm not perfect. I'm just trying to
But
say that
you-
when I feel down,
You need
I
to
have
pick
my,
yourself out
whether I go do a little music, do a little sports, I find ways to, because
take
really
yourself
and truly,
outside.
it's oftentimes when I focus on certain things. Probably let's say you do a test, you feel it, and you keep focusing on that
Well, I was
one
about
bad
to
experience.
ask the follow-up question. What
Yeah.
tends to be your triggers?
My trigger,
But wait, before you go to your triggers, a good way to know if you're depressed, ask yourself how often do you feel really good and how long does it last?
oh, really good.
You're like really good, like life is just good.
Hold on, that
In this life, envy,
that probably when I was-
I stress you, I
probably
stress
when
you.
I was
know.
1 year old.
Envy, I put with the depression, I don't have. Right now, at Jamaica, we live in envy.
When I was
But
in
me
the
I try
belly.
to tell you, say, if you can't see you feel good about life and grateful for life and life good,
Alright.
But the thing is,
I'm grateful for life in the envy.
I was actually about to say
Yeah.
that's dependent, because being grateful for life don't necessarily mean things great.
Yeah.
It means that you're choosing,
You just
regardless of what you're going
that you have
through,
more
to
opportunities
say you have
than you
more.
have issues.
Exactly. Once you have breath, you can still make a difference.
Alright.
So that's a choice.
Alright,
But
fine.
they
And not
look at
necessarily
Jamaica.
something that just innately come.
Grateful is one. So you
But
can
being
feel
happy
grateful,
about
but
how your life is
yeah,
is a
feeling good
different
about
thing,
life.
because you may have certain plans and certain goals and it manifest, and you work hard. You know, put in the work, this, and no matter what you do, it's like nothing work. And then probably you find
depression still.
and then probably you find somebody will not put in after work, but not do nothing actually, and them just sub off. You know, them something that's why them say comparison is a thief of joy, because when you know what you are doing and you put out and the effort and whatever, and then probably this mother is just a breath and then barely probably they don't have a job.
Yeah.
That is where the envy and the depression comes from, because you wonder what me not do. You know, and those things contribute, right? Dre said battling depression is not easy, depending on the individual depression depending on the individual depression, as it won't switch where it flicks on and off. But I wanted to ask, because I wanted to verify if the questions we had last week and the reasons we had last week sort of coincided. That's why I talked to the professional men, the professionals in their gender, you know. Wanted to know how often, because the thing is, most of us just see it as we are this person. Most people say, you know how you have like some people stay like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, just always, and then some people see it as them personality traits. Depression is not a personality trait.
As I said, nowadays everybody does put a new title to everything, and I skip and go through.
And we understand you have people that aren't so happy-go-lucky and bounce around, but depression is not a trait, and most people accept that as a trait.
Yeah.
So they're
I'm
just
a downer.
I'm just this person, you know. I'm just I barely smile. Me always stress out. Me always this. Me always that.
Why
No,
bother?
that's you giving
Sounds
in
depressed to me.
to these mental health concerns.
So alright, so it's not a trait. However,
It's not a personality trait.
However, you can have a different type of brain that makes you more susceptible to depression. Yeah.
It's the brain and how you learn and how you do things. It as MG say, it kind of can set you into a cycle, right?
Yeah, because if you have an ADHD brain, you're more susceptible to depression. Yeah, and if you have a neurotypical brain,
Hold on, MP. Hold on.
Hold on, you might
Now
use
go look it
bigger.
up.
Cause ABC brain, I think what's all that going on? I say, hold on.
Hello,
What-
hello.
Jada, do you have a neurotypical brain?
I have.
What may bet you
I'm
told what?
ADHD.
My girl say I'm in HD. I joke. I never that shit.
so yeah, so some people are more
Susceptible to it.
to depression. Yeah.
Right,
So
and
it's not a personality trait, but some people, the least little thing can just depress them.
No, but you have to understand as well, a lot of times, it's like what you say, you can identify the times when you are feeling depressed and you can pull yourself out of it.
Yeah,
Most of the time, but that's one thing we need to understand, is something you can actually do something about. Also, persons aren't doing something about it. So then the brain is just trained to accept it as, boy, I know people just always seem depressed. Like, I just at one point think this is just who they are. But that's not really who they are. They've accepted it and it's become such a part of their lives that they just become this. You know? And that's what I'm trying to get at. That yes, depression is a thing and some people are more susceptible than others, but at the end of the day, it's a choice. Like when I say happiness is a choice, it is a choice. Because there's days as well when I do feel down and I have to literally say, Kim, no, this not go so. Yeah, I have to decide, and then there are other days that I don't decide, but I know it's my fault because I just decide not to do nothing about it. Because probably it feels better or more or comfier just to sit down there and be depressed. That's the reality.
I think I see more people even posted it up as well. From I think during COVID times until now, I'm depressed, me this. And Jamaica with us dash words likely like
exactly.
Boy, me depressed, who are car. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, we need to consider this a bit more. Cause me not just take that title and dash it all over the place. If me have to go
What
read.
if you're ashamed that you're depressed?
Alright, that's the thing now. I don't think I reached that stage. If I'm say shame, I'm depressed.
But should somebody be ashamed?
But the thing is that
Can be.
the thing is that where would
About
you
what?
have to communicate it? That's the thing now, because if you're depressed, is it something you post on your status?
Some people do.
That's what I'm saying. And is that to post to help you feel better or to further live in the down
Sometimes
moment?
it's because they want somebody particular.
Ladies
do it a lot.
So it's weaponizing.
I was there once upon a time in my life. And you feel some type of way and you start sending them subliminal messages there. And the world and them wanna know you go through something. Like I see that now and I cringe. And I'm like, why are you putting your life out there like that? And never again since what pick you feel ago. I will never do it again. But people do that sometimes for specific attention of somebody or just attention overall. Then just want a bag of people messaging, you alright? You alright?
Yeah.
You alright? You know,
see
so
the messages popping in.
exactly, we do it for different reasons. But what I'm trying to reiterate, guys, it's a choice really. Depression, and yes, I know when I say it like that it sounds easy. It sounds like you just get up tomorrow and decide no. But it's, you see, this brain of ours, it's a powerful thing, and that is why you have to learn to train your brain to see positivity, to think positively, that even in the direst of moments you can find an ounce of hope to say, yo, I can find my way through this. Yeah,
all right.
That's one of the things that I don't know if it can be taught, but it's one of the things that helps you to get through this depression.
Did we talk about what depression feels like?
Hold on there. Before we get into all of that,
question.
Kimmie was dropping a little mantra there and a kind of phrase it in.
What?
So I want you guys to take out your books and pens, and papers. I want to write this one down. So you're going to train your brain to see beyond the pain.
And the rain.
Alright, give me a joke up my thing. Anyway, but yeah, what depression feels like. What does it feel like?
Well, Dre said, my suggestion to people who are battling with depression is to think and act positively. And that's what I'm saying. But the thing is, easier said than done. It's something that you have to... I don't want to say to be taught, because I don't think it can necessarily be taught. But as you said earlier, MV, that a person's upbringing, who they are, what they learn around them actually affects how they deal with depression as well. Because if, for example, you grew up with parents who just negative.
Yeah.
Right? Everything negative. Oh, I can't bother. Why am I bother? You know, sometimes I feel like I kill myself. That actually goes down to the children.
It does.
And that affects them. And we don't understand how the things we do and say really affects kids. And we think, say, oh, them pick them not understand. We sometimes cause that problem. That's why them say there's childhood trauma that 3/4 we have and we don't know. And we not deal with it. Right? So somebody who's around some family members who just ever negative, ever in a chaos. You realize how some people, as soon as arguments start, everybody want to fight. Guess why? Them background and who them grew up with did ever try fight and ever push badness and ever. So you have somebody that they're going to deal with life that way. It's the same thing with depression. If it is that them don't know if to think positively, same thing. Yeah. So easier said than done when you just tell somebody, just think and act positively. It not really just happens so. But you can change your thought process. You can change how you see life. Just like how if your parents in a crime, you know, grow up and turn criminal.
Yeah.
If them are thief, you know, for grow up and turn thief. You can grow. If them did homeless or jobless, you not automatically homeless and jobless. You can say, you know what, me I go be the one to start that training.
Yeah.
Me I go be the one who go university. Me I be the one who own my business. You can change. So just like when you make them decision in a life and with money, make that decision with who you are. That is my 2 cents. You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So they say, train your brain to push through the pain. Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things as well I realize that we don't talk about a lot is anxiety.
Oh.
So everybody know about depression, because depression eats for point out. Anxiety, I never really fully understood it. You know, people are just always anxious. I don't understand it because I'm not a very anxious person.
Is it a good thing to be anxious?
No.
Oh, always is a problem.
They say be anxious for nothing. That's what the Bible says, firstly.
Oh.
But then you have some people who and that's why they have panic attacks. I've seen people have it and I've never understood. What you have panic for?
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy
my brain not under... Let's be careful how we use that word.
Oh,
you know what I'm
no, I'm saying it's crazy how they, they're actually expressing what's happening.
Exactly.
But yet still, it's like they can't stop it from happening.
Exactly. So they're panicking about something.
Interesting.
So I know MV did some research earlier upon the anxiety something. So I'm like him for educate with, as Dre said, Mr. Encyclopedia. But guess what? Where I get a little education there after the break.
So we do your divide, then add up.